Matt Bevin is on in Kentucky. Hello, Matt.
Glenn, it is so good to be back on with you. How are you today?
Very good.
We're sick, actually, Matt. At least I am, because I'm worried sick. Please tell me, assure me, let me know that this is not going to happen to you what happened last night.
You know, it's the people of Kentucky will decide this. It's as simple as that. The people of Kentucky will decide.
That's not good enough, Matt. I want assurances.
It's not good enough. We want some sort of progressive plan that will make sure that if the people decide wrong, that we just fix that.
Yeah, can we do that?
You know, the progressives believe people are too stupid to figure it out on their own. So why would you leave it in the hands of
Democrats? There's some Democrats who have access to certain electronic and digital abilities to probably make things happen, but I don't happen to have an inside track on that.
Well, there's a problem. There's a problem.
How are you guys doing inside polling? Because we haven't seen a poll since February or something.
The polls that I have seen, New York Times did one a few weeks ago, and it showed that we had closed the gap yet again. We're now down to the teens separating us. It was 50-some, then 40-some, then 30-some, then 20-some back in February.
Okay.
And the latest poll showed that we were 17% back among Republican primary voters. I will tell listeners there is never going to be a poll that shows we are ahead until May 20th when people go into the ballot box. But we are going to win this race. We are going to win this race. Our signs, our enthusiasm, our supporters, and the passion we have is everywhere in this state. There is not a sign for Mitch McConnell anywhere. People don't care enough to put his name up in their front yard for 2 months, but they're starting now to sneak around at night and steal signs of ours out of people's yards, which is remarkable to me.
I agree with that there's no passion there. I also agree that Kentucky is a different place. If I'm not mistaken, the first time that Mitch McConnell won against a incumbent, a very similar scenario was happening. I believe he was 20 points behind in that poll before the election.
He was actually, with less than 3 months to go, he was over 40% behind. Kentuckians, we do not wear our sentiment politically on our sleeve. We don't spill our guts in polls. We go into the voting booth and we do what we know needs to be done. We don't listen when they say disregard that eye doctor from Bowling Green, and we elect guys like Rand Paul. We don't listen when they say disregard that guy from Lewis County, of all places, that nobody's heard of, and we elect people like Thomas Massey. This is Kentucky, and we don't care what the echo chamber in Washington, D.C. thinks or says or talks about. This is something that we will do because it needs to be done.
So, Matt, the problem that is happening all around the country is that guys like you just don't have the capital, and the GOP is funneling all kinds of money into the other guys' races. And Mitch McConnell, he has said that his goal is to make sure that there are no Tea Party wins anywhere in the country this fall. So he is clearly taken off the mask. He is not a Tea Party guy. He used to be at Tea Party rallies. He used to be the guy who's like, no, you don't. You never have. You're a fraud. So they have all of this. Go ahead.
He is a fraud, and I'll tell you, the people, though, have a chance to do something about it. And you are correct. They have historically always bought their way back into power. They believe they're going to buy their way back into power again. But I'm begging your listeners and the people of Kentucky and across this country, if ever you have cared, care now. If ever you are going to rise up now. If ever you are going to write a check now. If you've ever worried about your country, worry now. Because this is the absolute crossroads that we must make decisions today that are going to affect us for generations to come.
You know, it's really interesting because that's Karl Rove's, that's the name of his organization, Crossroads. And I think not a lot of people have put a lot of thinking into this, but I believe that is a crossroads for the nation. I mean, here's a progressive and a guy who is trying to take down the Tea Party. They know they're at a crossroads as well. The country is at a crossroads. The party is at a crossroads. And, Matt, if you get into office, I'm going to say it when you win, it is going to be because not of a Karl Rove or some grand strategist or I say that with deference to the grand architect of the universe, but it's not going to be a man strategist that puts you in. It is really going to be the people who are going door to door, the people who are working in other states. If somebody is, let's say, doesn't have any money to donate, is there something that they can do, from the comfort of their own home in another state? Can they volunteer?
Absolutely.
How can they do this? What can they do?
People reach out. Well, there's this thing called, Pat might be able to help us with this, but there is this thing called the Internet, and if people went to mattbevin.com, they could literally sign up for the ability to make phone calls from home. They could do phone calls in our offices around the state, but doing phone calls from their own home is a powerful, powerful tool, because the biggest disadvantage we have is name recognition and people knowing when they go in the voting booth that they have an alternative to Mitch McConnell. We have made great, great strides. We are picking up huge, numbers every single time a poll is taken, and yet we are still David and he is still Goliath. I want to go back real quickly to something you said, though. The thing about a crossroads that people don't appreciate. When you get there, you have 4 options, essentially 5. You can stop and do nothing. You can go backwards. You can continue on the exact same path. You can go to the left, or you can go to the right. This is not a simple task before us. I am begging people to go to the right. Our nation needs people who care. I've talked to thousands of people around this state. Thousands. There are people who care, but they need to care enough to come out and vote. And if people would come alongside us, go to mattbevin.com, reach out to us. We will be able to plug people in these last days and weeks to be able to make this happen. 2 weeks from yesterday, May 20th, is the primary here in Kentucky.
I will tell you, Matt, that I have, I don't think, and Pat, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've ever believed in a candidate more than you. I really don't think so. I don't think I've ever believed, and I believe deeply in Ted Cruz. I believe deeply in Mike Lee. I'm not sure I have ever believed in anybody, at least at this point, as deeply as I do with you. But I have to tell you, Matt, if you get into office and you violate your principles and the principles of the Constitution, I'm going to go and I'm going to grab your wife and we're going to drive to Washington and we're going to get you. And she's going to lead us because I've met her. She's a great woman.
She is a great woman, and she would be leading that charge. I'll tell you what, if your listeners look in the face of your own children, look in the face of your own grandchildren, this is not a game.
Matt, you all right?
Yeah. I'll tell you, this is not a game. What is at stake is significant. It is the future of this great nation. And the idea that we got here by accident, the idea that we just got here by coincidence, and the idea that we're going to stay here on autopilot is a fool's notion. And we have got to take ownership. We've got to step up.
Are you at all surprised by the hubris of Mitch McConnell we were talking about it yesterday in the office. This guy he's not being humbled by this race at all. He is coming out and just swinging hard and really declaring an end of the Tea Party. Are you surprised by this at all?
He has nothing else. Let's be honest. He can't defend his record. He has no vision for the future. He has never cared about anyone other than himself and his cronies. And this is the nature of bullies. It has ever been thus. They will go down swinging. But I'll tell you what, deep down, bullies are cowards. They're cowards. And the reason he is being so vindictive and so personal with me is because he knows that I have no fear of him. I see him for the arrogant coward that he is. And if his hubris and selfishness get in the way, well, then so be it. We, the people, have the ability at the ballot box to do something about that.
Matt, do you sense any reluctance on the part of your fellow Kentuckians to maybe switch sides from McConnell to you because he's accumulated the power that he has and he's become the Senate minority leader and he's been there for 30 years or whatever it is? And they're worried that you will then be the junior senator and you won't wield that kind of power. How do you respond to that?
Well, I tell people who's been the real leader in terms of our senators from the state of Kentucky in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And there is not one person, including the McConnell supporters, who would disagree with the fact that it's been Rand Paul. No question about it.
No doubt. No doubt.
In fact, in the last 2, 3, 4 years in the U.S. Senate, it's all the new guys. It's Mike Lee. It's Ted Cruz. It's Rand Paul. It is all the new guys in the last 2, 3, 4 years. This old paradigm of you need to be there a long time to have influence is nonsense. And in fact, the power and influence that exists has been used to enforce things like debt ceiling increases and bailouts and growth of government through everything from the Clean Air Act to the Energy Act to the you name it, to amnesty time and time and time again. If you want that power and influence to the extent that it exists to be used for things that are bad for America, then double down on that, America. But if you think we deserve better, we need better, and we must have of necessity better, then it is time to turn the page. It is as simple as that. We've got that luxury at the ballot box, and a great sacrifice has been made for us to have it, so let's use it.
Okay, Matt, I appreciate it, and thank you for your time, and our prayers are with you. Thank you so much.
Glenn,
good luck. MattBevin.com.
So I appreciate it.
You bet. Bye-bye.
MattBevin.com.
I got it.
But that's where you go. I'm just saying, if you wanted to contribute to his campaign, you could go to MattBevin.com.
If you believe in Mitch McConnell, then go contribute to the GOP. I mean, if you believe in the progressive answers for the GOP and the John McCain's and the Lindsey Graham's and the Mitch McConnell's.
Yeah, if you like what you've got,
then donate to the GOP and work hard to get Mitch McConnell elected. But if you hear this guy and you want a different course, I would ask that you would volunteer your time and make phone calls for him. Contact him through his website and find out how you can help. If you don't have any money, that's all right. We're all in different situations, but we all have a way to serve. I don't know if anybody else felt that when he stopped. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but that was one of the most powerful moments I have felt. I am telling you, I have never felt this way about a candidate ever before. And maybe it's just me. But there's something special about this guy, and
he's the right guy.
He is. I think there's more to it. I don't know. There is more to this guy. He is a remarkable, remarkable man, and I would urge you to do your own homework. And if you find him worthy, then support him in the ways that you can. Let's just go back on that Matt Bevin interview. When he stopped, I thought he stopped because he was getting choked up. And then when I said, "Are you all right?" he jumped right back into it. Was it my imagination, or did his voice start to fall apart again, like 3 or 4 words into it?
Yeah, I don't know. At first, I kind of thought, I wasn't sure if the phone just dropped out, and then I wasn't sure if he just paused and had like a moment as something hit him. A little bit, but then he seemed kind of okay, and then I think you might be right, like a few words back into it.
Did you hear that, Jeffy? I thought he was. I thought he was
first broke off. It sounded like he was starting to break up. Yes.
Yeah, and then when he came back, he said like the first couple of words he said were okay, and then he started to you could hear it in his voice.
I think so too. Somebody who thinks of this as real and important and something that the
guy is the real deal.
He really is.
Please, Kentucky, by all that's good, right, and holy. Please.
I mean, please. Really, honestly, I haven't met anybody like him before. I just felt like, I really felt that he's a founder. He really is a founder.
You definitely get the sense that this is not about him getting a job.
No. The guy's a successful businessman. He doesn't need this.
Not in a million years. And you know what? You know how you know is when people will look you in the eye and you can really, truly feel it from them that they don't want that job. They're doing that because they feel they're supposed to. They have to. The country is in real trouble.
He told us that.
Yeah.
So
and his wife is even more fantastic. They have like 1,400 children.
Yeah, I think that's the exact number. I think they just have 1,400.
1,400.
Yeah. They've adopted. How many kids have they adopted? It looks. I mean, honestly, it looks like a choir.
4 natural or 5 natural, and adopted 4, 5. I'm not sure. It's
great.
It's one or the other.
I mean, he's a wonderful guy, and
but what is his carbon footprint for that family? I mean, it's too large. It's too large. We need to take urgent action, and he's not even considering
urgent
that.
action. And he's making it worse.
He is
way worse. And
do you see